Hey YouTube, this is a Zombies USA simulator. A guy by the name of Matt Gillespie actually developed this along with a co-creator. I'm not sure who he is. I had to start this running because I had some difficulties with the actual program not interfacing, allowing me to interface with it during the recording. So what we'll do is we'll look at this corner over here, and it says, "Welcome to Zombie Town, USA. A disease dynamics simulator of zombieism across the USA. We use Gillespie's dynamics on block level census data from 2010, using 308 million people interacting across the continental United States, or US, as it says there. The parameters, the A indicates the kill to bite ratio. The other symbol is time for zombies to walk 1 mile. I actually had to make an adjustment because on here it actually said 11 miles per hour, and the average person actually walks 3.5 miles an hour. So I did the best approximation that I could, and it was because of the slide bar doesn't give you an accurate reading. It ended up at 3.2, which is not too bad, just off just a little bit. And as you can see here in my home state of Ohio, here's the current infection spread. And we're standing at 26 hours roughly. And as it continues to progress, we'll see what happens in the overall things for the state. Now, as you can tell, there's also some intrusion right there on the state of Indiana, here at the 27 mark. And we'll let this go, and we'll see what's going on for effectively a week. So you're looking at 24 hours a day, and 24 hours a day times 7 is roughly 160 hours, and we'll see what happens in that time frame. And we're closing in on 30 hours. There we go. There's a good bit of engagement right there with the state of Indiana. Not exactly sure why, because if you can tell right here, there's a lot of population right there utilizing electricity. That's what the whole map, that's why all the glowing aspects of the map, where the most electricity is being utilized. And as you can tell, it seems to be spreading rapidly through the state of Indiana. I got it as close as possible to the town that I live in. It's not very far from the state of Indiana, roughly an hour's drive west on State Route 70. And as we progress, not too bad, I guess. There's a zombie apocalypse. Let's take a look here. Once again, I did check the numbers, and it is 3.5 miles per hour, as opposed to when it actually starts at 11 miles an hour. I don't know of anybody who actually walks that fast. If you do, let me know. Put it in the comment section. And as you can tell right now, there is some progression towards the brighter area right there. I figure once it hits that, there might be an exponential blackening of that area just because of the use. Not too bad for 3 days at this point. A 36-hour time frame. It took a big chunk out of Indiana, though. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the website on there after all is said and done here with the video. And hopefully I'll get the actual article. I had to reduce some of my tabs just because of the speed ratio. It was slowing it down. And here we go. We're closing in on 39 hours, roughly. The interesting thing is how possible is this really when it comes to the bite to turning ratio? You have to give it a lot amount of time. Each person is individual, so it may depend upon their initial health when they're initially bitten, and the time frame of resistance to the infection of the individual person, and ultimately when they demise or if they demise, and then the resurrection of the body. And from all known or theorized information, all higher brain functions cease to exist. So what you're doing is you're looking at somebody who, well, actually just the body being restored to function. And with that, it's running basically, in scientific information, if you will, there are 3 levels of the brain. There's the higher functions, which make you you. There's a smaller function, in scientific terms. It depends on what you believe, if you will. More like a primate or a dog. That's the secondary function, or the smaller interior of the brain. And then basically near the cerebral cortex, you're looking at reptilian or even amphibian like traits. The emergency situations, the basic walking, eating, mating, whatever. And essentially what that's supposed to be doing is activating the reptilian, amphibian, what have you, brain stem functions. And so you have basically a body that's running just on primal instincts, according to science, if you will. And here we're closing in on 45 hours. It's not exactly thrilling, but it looks like Indiana's, actually the middle of Indiana's closing in on being wiped out. I apologize for the speed. I'm working with a computer that's not very functional. It's relatively old. There's no, effectively I've tried cleaning it a few times, and this is about as good as it gets at this point. Replacement, hopefully sometime in the future. And here we come up on 47 hours. It was rather interesting the first time I ran this simulator. Roughly about 153 hours. I'm not exactly sure where I placed the initial point on the state of Ohio, or as close as possible, but it ended up completely covering at 153 hours at 11 miles an hour. So I had to make that adjustment. Like I said, it's unreasonable to engage in the concept of somebody actually walking 11 miles an hour. That would be in some cases faster than the average person running. And from all information, there's no realistic idea of a zombie actually running. You've seen World War Z. I have never seen it. I've seen bits and pieces of commercials, but in that particular case, they look even, well, perhaps even worse off than um, zombies in The Walking Dead. But overall, you don't see them in that sense of literally being a tidal wave of corpses racing after people. There'd be slow movers, um, like Night of the Living Dead, the initial people who've recently died, haven't been interred, people who've been attacked, and whatever time frame they have coming back. That would be more realistic. Once you put somebody in the ground, um, so long as you actually had them entombed, like most people do today, and somewhat in Victorian times, where they had cages placed over the graves, that would be the that'd be permanent. Um, I remember hearing about stories of researchers who would go through old graves, and they would find scratches on the tops of the caskets lids, where they actually ended up burying people alive. And they all assumed that they were dead. That's why they had wakes at the time. Now they embalm, uh, and we have a better understanding of the body's death process. And here we are at almost 55 hours. So this is roughly 3.2 miles an hour of walking time, and you have an exceptional amount of zombies running around, uh, attacking people, and simply biting them, tearing them up, what have you. And then it's just a process of creating new zombies. So far, it looks like somewhat all of southern Ohio has been wiped out. The central portion is basically being claimed now. Most of Indiana has been wiped out, and the eastern or southeastern Indiana has been wiped out, and it looks like it's already penetrated Kentucky just a little bit, and that's probably about as it gets at the moment. Once it reaches Toledo, it's going to look not a lot different, if you will, because it'll start breaching into Michigan. And unfortunately, I'm on a limited timetable here, so what we'll do is I'll run out the clock, and yeah, I'm coming up on just about a minute left. Unfortunately, I don't have the unlimited, but well, this gives you an idea. And once again, what I'll do is I'll post it on the actual website below, and feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe, feel free to like it, and hopefully I'll be able to get a better system with an unlimited um, screen recorder, and I'll get to some other projects that will be interesting and worthwhile, and hopefully I'll get a better webcam, and we'll head on there from that point. That's interesting right there. Look at how all of Indiana, or the southeastern portion of Indiana, is just almost wiped out. Well, I'm done. See ya.